guy who's been able to just be balling out of control, constantly flashing money, $1 million watches, a fleet of super expensive cars, and still fix everybody up. The thing about Floyd is he never lost his discipline. Floyd would famously run home from the nightclub. So he would go out in Vegas and be partying. He looked like a party. He was drinking water. And then he would have his driver drive, and with his pants on, jeans on, he would jog home. And the dude was always
like Joe Rogan.
Crazy.
Like, wow. And I think he held him up like, hey, man, don't fall because you'll mess the money up.
They were the same size. I think Floyd was knocked out. Logan was so big.
Oh,
he was so much bigger than
What's them shots, though?
It's so crazy to see a guy who is the best boxer of all time having a fight with this super athletic, gigantic YouTube kid. I mean, look at the size difference. It's insane. A big transition of his own. If you go back to the early parts of his career and you watch Pretty Boy Floyd, he was a much more aggressive fighter, and he would put himself in danger much more. And then when he became Money Mayweather, just got so much more brilliant defensively. And then he became the guy that you see shutting out Canelo Alvarez, stopping all these guys, just shutting everything down. He just became crazy workouts and crack open a Pepsi. People are like, what the f*** is he doing? Like, he's crazy. That guy never drank, never partied, never was out of shape, never got fat, would run home from the club at 2 o'clock in the morning. If boxing is hit and don't get hit, who's better than Floyd? Zero people. He definitely cracked him at the end of that round and wobbled him. And then it was right at the bell. And so then Floyd got back on his bike and started out boxing.
Is Ali the same fighter that got beat by a fighter with 7 fights? Every time boxing come on, you don't bring up Muhammad Ali. You don't bring up Mike Tyson. You always bring up Floyd Mayweather because I'm still the face of boxing.
When you think about Floyd talking about greater than Ali, he's very delusional. Listen, he can't take his kid to school by himself. He ain't talking about he's great. He's a little scared man. Greatness is not guarding yourself from the people. Greatness is being accepted by the people.
Joe Rogan was left visibly stunned during a recent podcast episode as breaking news emerged that boxing legend Floyd Mayweather is being sued for his alleged involvement in a massive $42 million fraud scheme. Known for his unfiltered takes and deep dives into celebrity scandals, Rogan couldn't hide his disbelief as details unfolded about the lawsuit, which accuses Mayweather of orchestrating a deceptive financial operation involving false investments and questionable partnerships. The timing of the lawsuit raised even more suspicion, especially after a prior investigation 2 years ago by Contact 5's Katie Legrone exposed how similar scams operated. Despite the red flags, there's been little effort to uncover how the scam was executed or who the victims were, leaving Rogan and others to question the system's accountability. "I smell something," Rogan muttered. "Something seems a bit fishy." For years, Mayweather has been perceived as a financial enigma, a man who constantly flaunts his wealth, boasting $1 million watches, private jets, and luxury vehicles, all while claiming to be self-made.
Fight is not because he's like Mike Tyson, just goes out and destroys people. They like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit. He's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my fucking jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed. Like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but when I'll show you, when I'll show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch covered in diamonds, like $5 million. And so you hate him.
Do you feel that disappointment that the fans felt that maybe you didn't get the best Manny Pacquiao that night?
We're not going to do that. We're not going to talk about that. You was one of the guys that believed in Pacquiao.
I did.
Okay. So now we don't want you to back out the block. And I told you before, that was easy work. So if you believe in Pacquiao, you need to go back and say, you need to sit down and do a story and say, you know what? I believe in Pacquiao. And it's his fault. It's not Mayweather's fault because Mayweather did what he always do. Be a calculated fighter, be a smart fighter, and find a way to win.
And I did that because I said that although there was a problem with his shoulder, whether it existed or not, I always said there was no. Wait.
Floyd was great, but he didn't want smoke with Winky. He didn't want smoke with he didn't want smoke with Triple G. But there are people who look at that situation and be like, I mean, that's crazy. But that's what the great ones do. They do crazy shit. But Floyd did enough crazy stuff, though. Listen, I don't have that much criticism towards him. I just don't think he's as great as everyone say. The greatest ever? That's silly talk. But he was jaw-dropping great. The impact of Floyd is my thing, and that's not criticism on Floyd. That's criticism on followers. So everybody followed what they perceive to be his blueprint. That's my criticism. It's never Floyd. Never Floyd.
During third, and well, in the boxing match, specifically in the second round, Floyd Mayweather kicked out a ref. And they replaced it with a new one because the ref took too long, pausing the fight. Let me know in the comments if this is one of the craziest things you've seen in a boxing.
Floyd fired the referee in the middle of the bout. Floyd throws this punch, and he's 100% correct. The punch landed the side of the head. It's a right hook. It's a perfect punch. And the referee was saying, watch the back of the head. He's like, what the f*** are you talking about? And so he kicks the guy out, and they bring in a different referee who finishes the fight. It's just how often you hit the other guy. He's the best ever. The way him and his uncle and his father talk, I will imagine they were always super competitive from the time they were young.
Yeah.
Like he grew up being super, like they're super competitive. They're competitive about talking shit. They're competitive about all kinds of things. So it's like that hive, like growing up with that all the time. In the boxing,
undefeated.
Mayweather
Floyd's the only guy who's been able to ball out of control and still fix everyone up, Rogan said, marveling at his extreme lifestyle. Yet despite the flash, Rogan emphasized that Mayweather was one of the most disciplined athletes he'd ever seen. Mayweather famously partied in Vegas while drinking water, then jogged home in jeans at 2 a.m. The perception that he was partying was an illusion. He was always training. Throughout his commentary career, Rogan has extensively analyzed Mayweather's boxing evolution. Early on, Mayweather earned the nickname Pretty Boy for his ability to avoid damage while delivering lightning-fast combinations. As his career progressed, he adopted the persona of Money Mayweather, shifting to a more defensive, strategic approach. Rogan believes this transition wasn't just smart, it was genius. He became a defensive wizard, Rogan explained. That's why, for my money, Floyd's the best ever. He's the guy that got hit the least. He's exactly the right amount of aggressive to win. Rogan frequently highlighted Mayweather's unique ability to stand directly in front of an opponent and still avoid punches.
Makes $300 million a month, which is $3.6 billion a year. He makes more money than Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, all of those guys. So I say all that to say this. The money that Canelo was looking for, they can easily come up with that money from Mayweather got.
Well, listen, let me put it this way to you. If he makes, what did he say, $300 million a month?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm 6'4" and 240. And I know I'm 5'8" and a half and 240. So there you go. There's no way. If he makes $3 million a month on his investments, that's a lot. $36 million a year. That's a lot. So I know guys that are worth, $500-600 million, plenty of them, and they don't make $36 million a year, let alone $300 million a month. So there you go.
The Business Insider did, talking about this $400 million property deal that he had been discussing here in New York City. But now, according to Business Insider, it's not what you think it is. They said there's no evidence there's been a sale of these properties. And it's 62 rental apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan. Here is what Floyd Mayweather had said at the time on a video that he posted on his Instagram.
I love bringing people into my lifestyle, showing people how I live. Now, I know you guys see me on the regular talking about real estate. Well, lately, I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings. It's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners. And all the retail down low on my buildings all belong to me. Guess what? You can do the same.
All right. Well, now we're trying to figure out what happened, right, with Business Insider. So according to another update, he did ink a $402 million deal for a Black Spruce portfolio. When he said that it was all his and no one invested, he meant no one was funding his part of the investment but him. And so I think this is something where maybe he owns a piece of this or shares in it, but it hasn't changed hands because the majority owner is still the same owner that it was before. I'm trying to understand what happened with this, but I know there's a story that's circulating, so just putting it out there. Woo, it's a tough one. I'm trying to understand as a real estate person myself, what exactly he is communicating when he's saying that he owns this, because they're trying to make it seem like he doesn't, but what it seems like is that he owns shares of these buildings, and it's a larger, it's part of an investment that he did on his own.
You just can't hit him, he said. Even during his exhibition bout with Logan Paul, a YouTuber with a significant size advantage, Mayweather showcased his poise and power. Rogan noted one particular moment when it looked like Floyd might have held Paul up to avoid ending the bout prematurely and messing up the money. Despite the size difference, Floyd landed precise shots, further proving his mastery. Rogan also weighed in on the public's complicated relationship with Mayweather. While many admire his skill, just as many loathe his persona. People love to hate him, Rogan said. They want to see him lose, but he doesn't. Mayweather often flaunts his wealth, watches worth millions, stacks of cash, and luxury homes. He's constantly showing you what he has, Rogan said, describing how Mayweather once laid out millions in watches on a hotel bed, calling them his small collection. So you hate him. But you watch him. Because deep down, you want him to get humbled. This disdain isn't limited
off the record. And they actually try to modify the story a little bit to get ahead of it. So it went from we own all the buildings with no partners to now their story is changing up a little bit. Oh, they reached out to the Housing Partnership, a spokesperson. Now, the Housing Partnership of NYC is a nonprofit group that is a partner in a majority of these like really huge like property deals. And it helps, the person buying it to qualify for tax breaks and grants and preserve the affordability of the portfolio of partners, right? If you're buying, affordable housing, then you're going to go through the NYC Housing Partnership. That never happened, okay? So the spokesperson says the Housing Partnership has not been advised of any sale, pending sale, or change in ownership. Generally, the partnership will be advised of the transfer and will be party to the transfer. That has not occurred. A person directly... Now, here's where Mayweather get on that BS, bro. All right, here's where the shady business
Floyd went through a big transition of his own. If you go back to the early parts of his career and you watch when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, he was a much more aggressive fighter, and he would put himself in danger much more. And then when he became Money Mayweather, like as he got later and later in his life, he just got so much more brilliant defensively. And then he became the guy you see shutting out Canelo Alvarez, stopping all these guys, just shutting everything down. He just became this defensive wizard. And you'd see world-class fighters like Sugar Shane Mosley, once he recovered, he didn't really know what to do with it. Floyd just had the answers to the style.
To fans. Critics have long questioned Mayweather's reluctance to face certain opponents in their prime, like Winky Wright or Gennady Triple G Golovkin. And while Mayweather's 2015 fight against Manny Pacquiao was a box office success, many believed it came years too late. Rogan and others argue that while Mayweather's approach was calculated and effective, he sometimes sidestepped the riskiest challenges. Still, they admit his brilliance, he was jaw-dropping great. Mayweather's control over every aspect of his image and career is legendary. During an exhibition bout against John Gotti III in Mexico City, Mayweather reportedly replaced the referee mid-fight after being warned for an alleged illegal blow. The bizarre scene, Mayweather ejecting an official and continuing the match under a new ref, underscored the extent of his influence. Only Floyd could pull something like that, Rogan said. That's how much power he has. According to...
He's not the greatest boxer of all time, right?
It's arguable he is. It's arguable he is.
I don't think so.
Listen, man,
I feel like he is. He's my favorite.
He's been hit hard maybe 4 times his whole fucking career. Right. You stop and think about how many fights he fought against elite guys. Not just great defense, like the best defense of all time. You're talking about a guy who's fought everybody. He fought everybody. He fought Canelo. He fought Pacquiao. Maybe he didn't fight Pacquiao when he was in his prime. Maybe he fought Canelo when he was young. We made him cut extra weight. He did some smart shit. But at the end of the day...
That's part of being a fighter, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, the fucking guy's 50 and 49 in common grade. That's what he is. That's what I say.
To Rogan, this dominance traces back to Mayweather's upbringing. Raised in a fiercely competitive family of fighters, Floyd was taught from a young age to outwork and outsmart everyone. His dad and uncle were always pushing him, Rogan said. They were competitive about everything, the trash talk, workouts, you name it. This relentless drive helped Floyd become the ultimate tactician in the ring. But the same drive that made Mayweather a boxing icon may now be fueling deeper controversies. In recent years, Mayweather has made bold claims about his financial ventures, most notably stating he earns $300 million per month through real estate investments. That would total $3.6 billion a year, an amount surpassing the annual income of even the world's top billionaires. Rogan, along with financial analysts, found the claim preposterous. If he's making $3 million a month, that's already massive, one ex.
Floyd Mayweather are being sued over an alleged crypto pump and dump scam. Investors are accusing the celebrities of promoting a no-name crypto called Ethereum Max.
Do your homework, do your research.
I would not move forward with an endorsement that a celebrity had recommended just on the fact that they were celebrities.
Kujenwa Moit teaches branding and marketing at Parsons School of Design at the New School.
You know, they did what every scammer would normally do, which is to name it after something that is trusted. In fact, what we came to find is Ethereum Max has nothing to do with Ethereum. It doesn't even sit on the Ethereum blockchain, but it's a way of duping people.
Kim Kardashian promoted the coin on Instagram, asking, "Are you guys into crypto? This is not financial advice," and names Ethereum Max.
Kim Kardashian's case, it was declared on the Instagram post that it was a paid promotion.
Floyd Mayweather endorsed the coin at a boxing match with YouTube star Logan Paul.
This is the best day of my life.
Accepting the coin as payment for boxing tickets.
Trying to buy celebrity names to promote their assets. And so the ultimate question is, should someone who's being paid for promoting a product be ultimately held accountable?
Crypto and blockchain attorney Felix Shipkevich says the celebs are only doing their job of promotion. He gave an example of a celebrity promoting a car advertisement.
You know, sometime down the road, this EV has major issues, goes up in flames,
But $300 million? That's Bezos money. Skepticism peaked when Mayweather boasted in a video that he purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City without any partners. He showcased a few buildings and claimed all the retail space below belonged to him too. However, Business Insider reported that no such sale has occurred. The buildings remain under their original ownership, and no records exist of Mayweather being part of any transfer. When contacted, the NYC Housing Partnership, a nonprofit that usually oversees such deals, said it was unaware of any pending transactions involving Mayweather. Off the record, a member of Mayweather's team attempted to walk back the claims, suggesting that while Floyd might own shares, he isn't the sole owner. They also admitted that no investment partners were involved, contradicting earlier implications of a full purchase. Real estate professionals found the inconsistencies troubling. Now the story is changing, one analyst noted. First it was no partners, now it's maybe some shares. That's a big red flag. This murky financial saga only adds to the growing scrutiny surrounding Mayweather's real wealth. As more evidence surfaces, critics question whether his flashy lifestyle is supported by actual assets or carefully crafted illusions. For all his dominance in the ring, Mayweather may now be fighting the toughest battle of his life, proving his empire is as real as he claims.